Hi everyone, I'm John Renney and welcome back to the Boneyard. Are there any fans of dark and disturbing late 1980s thrillers out there in the Boneyard? If so, then boy do I have a recommendation for you as we take on Matthew Chapman's Heart of Midnight. I was flipping through one of my old film review magazines published in 1989 last night, and I came across an article about the wonderfully oddball and darkly disturbing movie Heart of Midnight. Now, this was a very controversial issue of Film Review from February 1989 and specialized in films with darker themes such as Tom Berenger in Betrayed, Jodie Foster and Kelly McGillis in The Accused, and Jennifer Jason Leigh in Heart of Midnight. To give you some idea of the themes in the movie, the Heart of Midnight article reads, "In a month of controversial movies, Heart of Midnight is one of the most controversial. A suspenseful psychological thriller, it stars Jennifer Jason Leigh as a frail young woman who was teetered on the edge of insanity ever since a traumatic incident. When she inherits a perversion palace owned by an uncle who had harmed her in the past, her past comes back to haunt her. But are her imaginings all in her mind, or are some of them murderously real? Peter Coyote and Sylvester Stallone's brother Frank co-star in Heart of Midnight, which opens on January 27th. Looking at the still images in the article, it reminded me of how different this film was, and how it had totally taken me by surprise the first time that I saw it on VHS in the early 1990s. It has a visceral quality to it that seems as a nightmare. I had gone into this movie totally blind, having only really bought the film because it starred Jennifer Jason Leigh in the lead role, and I loved her powerful performance in the classic Rutger Hauer chiller The Hitcher. And Heart of Midnight also advertised the great Peter Coyote in second billing.
I'm sorry.
Tell me you're Detective Sharp.
I'm Detective Sharp.
I knew these actors from great films such as Spielberg's E.T., Polanski's Bitter Moon, and Amy Heckerling's Fast Times at Ridgemount High, so I was expecting a somewhat mainstream erotic thriller. But instead, I found that what I was watching from director Matthew Chapman was an exploration of childhood trauma wrapped up in a fever dream.
Just a little ballroom. You'll be the king, I'll be the queen.
It was a movie that kept me guessing at every turn and had me glued to the screen, wanting to know what happened next to this really peculiar cast of characters.
It's Lieutenant Sharp.
Leave me alone!
Okay, come back when you're feeling better.
The performances in the film are like nothing else I've ever seen. Each character is quirky, up to no good, and looking to cut an angle somehow.
Oh, come on, man. She just waved.
And at the center of all this craziness is Jennifer Jason Leigh, who was lost in the heart of midnight. In brief, the film follows an emotionally disturbed young woman who inherits a nightclub from her uncle and decides to start a new life for herself, running the club in the city, far away from her old troubled life.
Hello.
But she soon discovers that all is not what it seems within the hidden passageways and hallways of the nightclub, and that the walls hold as many secrets as her own repressed memories. Jennifer Jason Leigh's performance of a person going through trauma is quite astonishing. Hopefully, that is enough to whet your appetite, as I don't want to say too much more to spoil the strange twists and turns that make this movie so great and earn it the title from here on the Boneyard as an underappreciated erotic thriller gem.
Carol, help me!
I will say that for modern audiences, that the movie is low budget. I think it was around 5 million, so don't expect the best production values. It has the look of a late night TV thriller, which for me is a genre I really enjoy, as I grew up flicking through late night television stations and seeing such amazing erotic thrillers as Illegal in Blue starring Stacy Dash and Gotham starring Tommy Lee Jones and Virginia Madsen, that are both as equally great films as Heart of Midnight in the erotic thriller genre. Despite this medium budget, Heart of Midnight is saved by the twisted story and great performances that more than make up for the lack of production values. There are a few surprises too, with actors such as Steve Buscemi, James Reborn and Frank Stallone popping up as sinister characters in smaller roles.
You want a leg or a breast?
It's fair to say that the Boneyard most certainly recommends this dark, disturbing, and quirky little thriller.
We have identical brothers. They look just like us.
You expect me to believe that?
Yes. Yes.
It's best to go into it not knowing what to expect, as it holds some great unexpected moments of strangeness and terror. It's a hidden gem thriller that showcases the outstanding character work and talent of a young Jennifer Jason Leigh in 1988. She elevates this erotic thriller and gives it an extra bite that makes this movie for me an unforgettable experience. The film is available on DVD for quite cheap from the MIA or Missing in Action label, and there was also a short run on Blu-ray from Kino, but unfortunately that is now really expensive. But there was also a decent looking BDR released from the Spanish label Cinema Media International, which I bought for around the £20 mark on eBay. If you are a fan of erotic thrillers, check this one out, because I promise you will not be disappointed. Thanks for watching. If you would like to hear more recommendations from me and explorations of weird and wonderful movies, please remember to like and subscribe. Hitting the subscribe button really does make the world of difference to my small channel, and please consider supporting the Boneyard as a YouTube member or follow me on Patreon. It's your contributions, comments, and the great conversations that I've had here on the Boneyard that keep this channel going. Let me know what you think in the comments below in the community if you decide to watch this hidden gem. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.